2 teaspoons and add that parsley and thyme. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be making a delicious but yet easy lamb chop recipe. So to make our lamb chops, we are going to be needing some green bell pepper. I have some yellow bell pepper, some red bell pepper. You can use as little or as much as you want. I have 1 onion chopped up. I have 1.5 Roma tomatoes chopped up. I have some parsley tied with some thyme. And I have about 1.5 teaspoons of tomato paste. And I will be using a packet of sazon. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. And I have 1.5 teaspoons of chicken bouillon or Maggi powder. I have 3 teaspoons of my Haitian Epis. This is that green seasoning. I do have a video up showing you how I make this. Check the card that just came up. I have 1 lime I'll be using to clean my meat, salt and pepper to taste, and some olive oil. And if you have some sour orange juice, we will use that as well. If not, you can use the juice of the lime. And this is my lamb chops that I'll be using. I have about 6 lamb chops here that I will be using. And of course, you're gonna need a little bit of water as well. Don't forget to check the description box where I will list everything and the measurements I use in this video. So let's get cooking, guys. All right, guys, first thing we are going to be doing is cut our lime. You can use 2 limes if you want, but I'm going to start off with 1. And you can even sprinkle a little bit of salt on top of this. I'm going to do it just because I'm telling you guys to do it. Nothing too crazy, and we are going to rinse it off anyways. So we are going to take that lime and squeeze all the water on top of our meat, and then just take the pieces of meat. Some of mine are still frozen, which is okay because we're going to marinate this overnight, okay? So it's going to defrost anyways. So I am taking that lime and just really brush all over. I really like lamb meat, but sometimes it can have a strong, stronger scent. So this will help it so much. And if you are not a lamb lover, but if you love pork chops, you can use the same method for pork chops as well. You guys probably already know we don't eat pork, so that's why I'm not doing pork chops for you guys. And I am not going to trim the fat. I'm going to leave most of the fat because once you start trimming them, it's going to fall apart. And we want that to stay together so we can cook it nicer, okay? If you haven't, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up as you are watching. And if you enjoy it, please share it with your loved ones as well. Again, all I'm doing is really rubbing that lime, squeeze it, and really rubbing it. And I am going to go ahead and rinse it under some hot water. Then once I'm done doing that, we can start seasoning that meat. So now to season our meat, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that packet of sazon all over that meat. Again, if you don't have that sazon, this is not something you have to use, but this right here you're going to have to use. So if you are not Haitian, this is your first time seeing this green seasoning, go ahead and try that recipe, guys. I promise you will not regret it. Okay, so this is an all-purpose seasoning, I like to call it, that green seasoning right here. We cook it with our Haitian rice, with everything. So if you are not familiar with it, go ahead and try it and come back and let me know what you think. I'm putting about 1 teaspoon of that chicken bouillon, and I am going to put about 1 tablespoon of that sour orange juice. Again, if you don't have this, you can use lime juice. This is definitely more than a tablespoon, but it's okay. And I am going to sprinkle a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper. If you want to use like garlic powder or anything like that, feel free to do so. It's whatever you like, okay? And now we are going to really rub that green seasoning all over our meat. This is such a great recipe to try over the Valentine's weekend for your boo or for yourself. Because remember, guys, you can treat yourself. You don't have to treat other people. You can treat yourself if you don't have a significant other. Don't feel bad if you are going to treat yourself, okay? Buy yourself some roses, like buy yourself some chocolate, make yourself a nice dinner. You can treat yourself. It's okay. So all I'm doing is rubbing it all over. And I am going to cover this, let it sit overnight, and then I will be cooking it the next day. And it should be nice and delicious, even though it's not cooked yet. So I will see you guys in the following day. Well, a couple minutes for you guys. Now you're going to want to set your stove to medium high. I am using an iron skillet because we are going to try to get some nice brown color to our lamb chop before we start making that sauce. All I'm doing is make sure I coat that iron skillet really well. And it is super hot, so be very careful. We are not trying to cook them right away. We are trying just to get color. That's the sound that you want to hear. So I'm going to place about 3 of them in there. And do not touch them for a good 3 minutes. Once they are done, it's going to be very easy to flip them over. Then I'll continue to do the rest, and we can start making the sauce once they are done. Again, do not flip them or anything. All right, it's been a few minutes. Now I'm going to flip this. As you can see, they flip easy. This one looked like it could have used a little more color, but that's okay. We can let the other side cook a little longer. This one is looking exactly how we want it to look. As you can see, there's a nice mark on that one. So I'm going to allow these to cook for 4 minutes. Then I'll remove them and put the other ones in. So my pan is not looking too bad. I am going to use the same pan, and I am just going to add a little more olive oil and go ahead and add the onions. It's nice to use the same pan because you can get all the drips from the meat. And I am going to add the peppers. Now, I don't want these to have any kind of crunch to them, so I don't mind if they are soft. So it don't matter if I add them right away. But if you want a little crunch to your peppers, maybe wait to add them once the sauce is almost done. But I just want them to kind of give my sauce flavor more than the crunch. You know what I mean? I'll saute these for about 5 minutes. And now I am going to add that tomato paste. This is what will thicken up my sauce, but I want it to cook. I don't want the taste of raw tomato paste in my food. And just mix it all together. Add the tomatoes in there as well. Add a little bit of moisture to it with the tomatoes before we add the liquid. And the liquid I am going to be using is that same liquid that my meat was marinating in. Even though we didn't add any water to that marinade, but the lamb released some of its water because it was frozen, as you guys saw. So that's the same liquid I plan on using. Just mix everything together, and I'm going to let that saute for a few minutes before I add my spices. So now I am going to add about 2 teaspoons of that chicken bouillon to this. Mix it up really well. I'm going to add some black pepper. No specific amount, just really shake a good amount, like a teaspoon or so, because not much really come out of this. And I am going to add some salt Okay. And now I can add a little bit of that liquid. Again, if you don't have this, you can use just water. If yours did not have any liquid, this is starting to look really, really good already. Taste. Always taste your food when you are cooking, guys. And now you want to bring those lamb chops back and just drop them in there so it can finish cooking in there. This recipe is so delicious. My kids love this. When I went down to Florida, I made this for my in-laws and they absolutely love this. Okay, just like that, and then just pour all the juice in there. And now we are going to cover this for a good 15 minutes. Just let that steam cook that lamb chop, okay? So cover it. My heat is still on a medium high about, and let it cook for 15 minutes, as I said. All right, after that 15, I'd say my simmer for like 15 to 20 minutes. We are going to add a little more of that sour orange juice. You can add lime juice, as I mentioned before, if you don't have this. This is about 2 teaspoons. And add that parsley and thyme. As you can see, some of them are curling up. It's okay. We just want them to be nice and tender, and I am going to add a little more of that liquid. I'd say a total of 2 cups of liquids. And just kind of move things around. And we are going to cover it again for another 15 to 20 minutes. We want that meat to really fall off that bone. Again, don't worry about the fat. You can always trim it off when you are eating it. Remember, we kept it on just so the meat can stay together so it don't fall off that bone. So cover it back up again for another at least 20 minutes. All right, guys, this is pretty much done. Let's see what it's looking like. Okay. That gravy is nice and thick, and I love that color. And if yours is not really tender, just go ahead and give it a little more time. Don't rush it. Let it do its thing, because there's nothing less sexier than a piece of hard meat on Valentine's Day. Okay, so let it do its thing. Don't rush anything. But as for mine, I believe it is done. So I'm going to cut into a piece. I know I should really let it cool down, but it's okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn off that heat and just let it sit on the stove. I'm still going to cover it, and that's pretty much it. Of course, I'm going to be eating mine with some rice and some broccolini. So if you are interested in making rice, go ahead and check my rice videos in this channel. And also, I do have a broccolini video as well. So I'm going to go ahead and taste this piece. Yeah, mine is nice and tender. Again, really easy recipe. You can do this with pork chops or lamb chops, whichever you want to do it with. And I did end up adding 1 habanero pepper. You don't have to. This is just me who like this. But this will do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys try this recipe. If not for Valentine's, you can do it anytime. Okay, let me know if you tried it, what you think about it. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share the video, of course. And happy Valentine's Day to all. I love you guys so much. Continue to take care of yourself. I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.